Hi, Reverend Paula Zabkar here from Spiritual Soul Center. We are here to create a movement grounded in love and kindness that transforms us, our community, and the world. That's what it's about. So let's take a deep breath and breathe that in right here, right now, right where you are. If you are listening, if you are a part of this transformation that's taking place based in love and kindness, then you are part of this movement. So let's take that in. Let's realize that wherever we are, wherever we're listening to this, wherever we are as we walk through our daily life, our weekly life, that we can be a part of that because we transform ourselves, our community, and our world by stepping each step in love and kindness. Let's breathe that in and breathe that out, knowing that we are a part of a larger community, and indeed the world. Breathing in and breathing out and feeling joy in that very thing. And so it is. Amen. I'd like to start off with a story this morning. It's from Mark Nepo's book, The One Life We're Given. Here's the way it goes. My great-grandfather, he says, was a leather worker. He made saddles for a feudal baron in Russia. He endured his uncertain livelihood by pouring himself into his craft. During a pogrom, he was chased by Cossacks in the Dnieper River, but wasn't killed because they didn't want their horses to get cold. After this, it took him 14 years and 3 trips across the Atlantic to bring our family to America. Toward the end of his life, on a summer night in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, he would say, "When in trouble, wait till you can see a way out." His son, my grandfather, was a gentle soul who became a letterpress printer in New York City, only to lose his job during the Great Depression. Even with little to eat, he'd bring strangers home for dinner. When Grandma would pull him aside and say, "We don't have enough," he'd kiss her and whisper into her ear, "Break what we have in half, it will be enough." When his son, my 93-year-old father, was in the hospital bobbing inside his stroke-laden body, I sat with my mother at the foot of his bed. As we watched him sink away from us, she shook her head and said, I don't know how he did it." She stared into the trail of their lives. No matter what we face, he'd always say, "Give me a minute and I'll figure out what to do." They're all gone, and I braid their lessons into a rope I can use to see a way out, to know that there will be enough, and to figure out what to do. In the midst of trouble, we're always challenged to stand still in the river till we're shown how to stay alive and give. Yes, when I read this, I was consumed by the wisdom in this. The simple wisdom that when uncertain, wait till you see a way out. When you think you don't have enough, break it in half and know that you have enough. And when you don't know what to do, just give it a minute. Just give it a minute. Simple, not difficult to understand, not complex in any way, just simple. Simple. So why don't we use it more often? Why don't we decide that this is the way to live? Are we so impatient? Are we so wanting to have it our way immediately? What do we miss by simply slowing down? What do we miss in life? No wonder we're scared all the time. No wonder we're anxious and depressed and don't know what to do and frustrated. Because we're always going. We refuse to slow down. We refuse to use these simple truths that we know. This isn't anything new. These truths aren't new and revealing information that you're hearing for the first time. They are things we already know, but that we don't use. So I fell into this trap this week, or I fell into this trap and just am finding my way out of it this week. You know, if you've been associated with Spiritual Soul Center, that we have been looking for our own space. People have been eager to meet. People are eager to meet. They're telling me, oh, we need to be meeting. We need to be meeting. Why aren't we meeting in the park? We need to switch the time to the morning. Or, yes, we can still meet at 5 o'clock. Why aren't we meeting? Why aren't we getting together? The pandemic is done. You know, it's waning. Why isn't that happening? And then I've shared with people that we are looking for a space. We are looking for a space. And people want to text me then signs that they see for spaces for lease or spaces to buy. Or when I say a temporary space, they have all these suggestions about what that could be and sending emails. And I let myself feel bombarded by that. I feel bombarded like I have to make a decision. We have to make this happen. I have to find a place and find a place right away so we can be gathering again. I have to organize it and make it happen. I keep in touch with our realtor. Every week we exchange emails. We've gone to look at a few places, but I have heard no more times than I can share with you. I don't know how many times that is. I've lost count. And what I've found out is many landlords do not want a gathering space in their shopping center or in their warehouse or in their office building or in their business center. They don't want this kind of use. There's never enough parking either. We need parking, don't we? We need parking so people can easily access our building. And then the landlords are like, what is Spiritual Soul Center anyway? Who do you have coming here? What's that all about? Is it really a church? And what about this? Why don't you give us a personal guarantee for 3 years of rent? Yeah, why don't you give us a personal guarantee of, $160,000 or so? Yeah, you know, I want to come out of this pandemic strong. I want us to emerge from our cocoon that we've been in, and I want us to usher in the next chapter of Spiritual Soul Center. To do that, I think we need a space. We need a place that we can vibrate this kind of energy with. You know, that's what I want. That's what you want. And I've decided that to validate this movement, to validate what we're about, that's exactly what we need, a place to call home, so that we can show that we are here to stay, that this is what we're about. Like, here we are. Taking this next step will validate me, too, as a spiritual leader, and will show that it's been a success. And I can tell you the feeling I've had recently is it seems I'm falling short on all fronts. It seems I'm falling short, and I wonder to myself, well, will it ever really happen? Or should we just close it all down? Should we close it all down? So, how about this wisdom that I just talked about? How about this? Well, wait. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. There is enough and it will happen. Really? You know, I've let myself get twisted up in all of this and forgotten these simple truths. That's how easy it is, really. And I'm glad that this past week I've had the chance I had an appointment with my coach. And so I was able to work that out. It was my personal gift to me, my self-care. Part of my self-care is to meet with her once a month. And so here's what happened. I spent a lot of time. Like, we talk for an hour and then I have a Reiki session with her for the last 30 minutes. So I spent a lot of time talking about this space. The space we don't have, the space we might have, the temporary space that might be available, the one we lost. I spent a lot of time talking about the pressure that I feel, that I've put on myself about making it happen. And then it fell out of my mouth. It's as if it just fell out of my mouth that I said, and the reason is this will validate the movement and validate me. It will validate my worthiness and our worthiness as a group. Ouch! Ouch! I mean, that's the word, ouch. Really? I'm letting something outside of myself validate me? That was tough even for me to hear. And so my coach asked me a few questions. She asked me a few questions, and it helped me to clarify it. It was my wait, give me a minute moment. And she said this to me: is there anything else you could be doing? And immediately I was like, no, I am doing what I can. I am doing what I can. And after a little bit more of a pause, I realized that that was enough. That what I'm doing is enough. What I'm doing is enough. I started to relax a little bit in that call. I started to let my shoulders drop and relax into it. And then she asked me this. She said, what is your opening statement? And I reminded her, as I remind you, we are here to create a movement grounded in love and kindness that transforms us, our community, and the world. She said, are you a part of us? Is transformation happening? And I'm like, yes, it is. I am a part of us, and transformation is happening. If you were at the annual meeting, I shared many ways that we as a group and I as an individual have been transformed. So that's working. We are grounded in love and kindness in so many ways, and transforming us, our community, and world. Yes, that's happening. And then she said this. She asked me this question. So what is it that you need to let go of? So what is it that you need to let go of? And I knew immediately what the answer was. The answer was this timetable, this artificial layer of having to make it work in a certain time, according to my time, according to what I think it should be. To let go of that. To let go of that. Slow down, grasshopper. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. Allow these truths, allow these simple things to come into your consciousness. I was so grateful as I came out of our call and the Reiki session that she gave to me, and to remember these simple truths, that I am enough. I am enough. I'm taking those steps in the direction that give me a minute, let me pause to remember. To remember that. To let the clarity come from that. And importantly, to allow this to happen, to receive it. Don't you know that just that day, I was thinking about what I would talk about in my soul session, and if you listened to it this past week, it was about being able to receive, to allow myself to be a receiver instead of the one that's trying to make it happen. So it was all very congruous. It was all very fitting that we should end our conversation talking about that. Well, this is how my life works. I fall down, I get up. I forget, and I remember. I think it's about other people, but it really is all about me. Sometimes I remember to slow down, and sometimes I get some help with that. That's what it's about. So what is the bottom line today? Well, you can decide that for yourself. I think part of the bottom line is to remember the simple truths. To remember the simplicity of life. To wait a minute. Even when things are uncertain, to wait a minute. To know that even if I have to break my part in half, there is enough. Man, that doesn't seem like the case sometimes, does it? But there's wisdom in that. There's wisdom in remembering that I am enough. To get back to my heart space. To remember and remind myself that I am, right in this moment, moving forward with clarity, with ease, with possibility, in right time, and all is well. All is well. Let's do a little meditation together. Let's pause our day in this very moment now and be still and practice that just for these moments. to allow it to rise, to allow the wisdom to rise up in us, to soothe us, to encourage us, to inspire us, to allow us to be absolutely at ease, exactly where we are. Grateful in this very moment for every simple thing. Grateful in this very moment and at ease. Grateful for the simple truths available to me in the depth of my heart. Always, always. And so it is. Amen. Thank you for joining me today. Let's feel this prayer as we say it together. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. Until next time.